What is up, everybody? Welcome to this week's episode of the Dense Pixels podcast. I'm with your host, Brad, joined by my co-hosts, Mike. Fuck, Mike is not here. Carrie.
What's up?
And Terrence.
Hey, what's up?
I couldn't decide who I was gonna announce first, and then I just defaulted to my default programming.
So we went with the guy who is
autopilot.
Right.
Right.
Ron Burgundy the shit out of that. I have a fun anecdote for everyone out there. I mean, it's been obviously it's a real tough weekend, especially out there in Minnesota, and things appear to be turning in that regard pretty quickly as we're recording this podcast, for the good, in that regard. But I did want to share a little self-esteem boost for everyone today, because no matter how down you are and how frustrating things can be, you'll never be as sad as Dr. Disrespect faking the fact that he went to the Highguard reviewer preview event, even though he very much did not, to the point where he even made up a fake press credential that he took a picture of and shared on social media.
How old is he? He's in his 40s, right?
He is in his 40s.
And yet he manages to be a pathetic baby every day.
He's a fucking child. What was
he is?
Why?
He is, because upon him
Highguard.
Upon him tweeting this out on social media, a lot of people came for the Highguard devs. They're like, "Wow, really good way to make a first impression for your brand new game." And then a lot of the people who were at the event were just like, "Yeah, we didn't see him there." And then the Highguard community manager is like, "Yeah, we didn't invite him and he didn't come to the event. So I don't know what this dude's talking about." So again, very, very sad, but also very funny. And again, you'll never be that sad, no matter what, as Dr. Disrespect attempts to cling to dear life for what's left of his career as a streamer. You love to see it. A little bit of housekeeping before we get into things. Don't forget that you can join our Discord by going to densepixels.com/fans to chat with other listeners of the show and ask us questions in the weekly post office segment that we do around here. YouTube.com/densepixels is where you go to watch the podcast in video form, plus whatever other content we put out, which right now is VODs from me streaming, which is something that I've done a couple times this year and plan on doing somewhat more regularly in the future. If you prefer to get your podcast in good old-fashioned audio form, just search for TNP Studios on the podcast app of your choice, because you'll find us, but you'll also find the Apocalypse and Black Cinema and the Look Forward Political podcast, a must listen in these trying times. And if you'd like to support us with zeal, go to densepixels.com/premium and throw down one Abe Lincoln per month, $5 to us to help support your favorite independent media podcast. Now, a lot of people were playing Highguard. Terrence was one of them. We'll talk Terrence in a little bit, but earlier today on stream, like the rest of the real ones out there, I was back in the pit because Ball Pit came out with their first of 3 free content updates that they have planned. It's cool. Like I said, more Ball Pit, always good. There's more balls. There's a couple more characters. One of them being the Carouser, who sometimes when balls come back to him, they'll orbit around him for a set period of time. So he's a character that really encourages you to play up close to the enemies and then use the passives that correspond to that play style, which I think is pretty neat. So 2 new characters, 1 new military building as well, which is the Adventurers Guild, which lets you continue on a run after beating the boss. And now there's leaderboards for how deep you can go into a level, if you decide to play a level on Endless, which fuck my life, I'm going to be playing a shitload of Ball Pit again to try to score well in these. But so far from what I've seen, solid update. The stream that I did earlier will be on the YouTube channel probably tomorrow, alongside the podcast, so you guys can check that out if you're interested. Again, Ball Pit, a criminally underappreciated game in my estimation. My number 2 game from last year. So Terrence, you have played the game of the day, the new free-to-play Raid shooter is what they're calling it. Highguard.
Yes, I did. It is no longer on my system.
Okay.
It's like I played 2 matches. It's not terrible, right? I don't know if I'm like a multiplayer shooter guy anymore. The game is really weird, right? You start like the game has 8 characters, and they call it a raid shooter because each team, which is 3v3 by the way, and the map is way too big to be 3v3, but that's not there. They're in a base, and when the game starts, you have to fortify your base. You fortify certain walls in the base, and it takes like a minute. Then once that phase is over, you go into the gear up phase, which is a 2-minute phase where you go out and you loot stuff, you collect crystals and shit like that. And then after that, the phase where I think it's called the shield breaker sword shows up, and it takes a minute to show up, and then the 2 teams congregate to try to get the sword. And whoever gets the sword, they got to go to the opposing team to put the sword into the whatever they call it for a battering ram to come to knock down the shield of that base so your team can raid it to try to blow it up. The 2 matches that I played lasted 30 minutes apiece. And I'm like, I'm not fucking, because neither one of us could actually blow up the base in time.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you don't blow it up, if you blow up like one, then and you lose all your respawns, the game resets to you. The 2 teams go back to their bases, and then you just repeat the same format like 3 times or something like that. If you don't blow up each other's bases, and whoever has the least amount of energy left loses. The gunplay is fun, right? It's Respawn or whatever the fuck their name is now. Is it Wild Light Studios?
Yeah, it's former Respawn people.
Yeah, former Respawn people. So they know how to. They did Apex Legends. They did Titanfall 2. So they know how to do gunplay, but the guns are kind of boring. The characters are kind of boring. The world is kind of boring. Everything is it's fucking boring. Yeah, I don't know how long this is gonna last. I'm assuming they're gonna like bring out more DLC. They're gonna add more characters and shit like that. But I don't know what the general consensus is right now. I have no idea. I just played it. I didn't know it was out. I'm like, oh, all right, that's neat. Free, downloaded, played it. Like, I don't like this. But then again, I haven't played Helldivers 2 since I bought it either. So I don't know. That could just be me.
I don't know. I watched a couple streams of it today. I mean, it seems like they so from what I understand, they have like a year's worth of content planned out for the game for the first year. It is free to play.
Yeah.
All the stuff that is in the game, microtransaction wise, from my understanding, is just cosmetics. There's no loot boxes or anything like that, which is all good. Yeah, and I think people were like lining up to kind of compare this game against a Concord, but it's kind of apples and oranges because Concord was a $40 game and this is free to play. So like, of course, it's gonna come out of the gate better than Concord does. And I think because it is free to play, it'll probably have a longer tail. But yeah, like as I was watching the stream, like it just looked like another one of these. And not to diminish it, but because it does seem to be doing some different things. Like it looks like it's taking a little bit of a lot of games. And
it's just kind of amalgamation of like Apex, you do a lot of looting, you got to pick better gear up and shit like that. But like there's 12 teams on that map.
Right.
When you're fighting in Apex, it's 12 teams of 3 in Apex Legends. And the map is not as big as an Apex Legends map because those maps are big as shit. But like the map is big enough to where you can literally add one more character to the team.
Mm-hmm.
Would make all the difference in the world. It could be 4v4 and it would be a lot better, honestly. And again, it's just nothing there. Like once you get into the raid section, I mean, it gets exciting because you're 3v3 and you're shooting at each other. But like the looting part, you don't see the other team. You barely see the other team. Like they're all doing the same shit, but the map is big enough to where you won't see the other team until you actually have to go and fight them. And it's kind of weird. It's just, all right, I'm not having a lot of fun. Yeah, I mean, again, it plays fine, but they have I don't know what's up with this team because when they released Titanfall 2 back in 2018 or something like that, between 2 Titans, no pun intended, what was it, Call of Duty and Battlefield came out at the same fucking time, and Titanfall 2,
literally it was Battlefield came out, The next week was Titanfall. The next week
And
was
then
Call of Duty. So
right?
EA
They
literally sent
just
that game out to die. So
it was fucked up. And Titanfall 2 is a great game. People still play that game
Mhm.
online. But this one, hey, I hope it succeeds. I ain't gonna play it. 'Cause I just
it's funny
wasn't
because I think the fact that it was revealed at the Game Awards has actually hurt the game, because I saw a snippet from an interview with this, I think the head of the studio or the head of the team that made this, and they were like, yeah, like we were gonna
a
stealth
shadow
drop it,
drop
just
like
like
Apex.
just like Apex did, because that worked, and we
Yeah,
figured that would be smart. But then Jeff saw the game and was like, hey, like, can I feature this? And we're like, yeah, sure, like, go for it. But then when you had that reveal in the position during the show that it was, because it was like the one more
it's
thing,
the very end, right?
it was the last thing shown, and then the fact that they went completely radio silent on the game until it released today,
Yeah.
essentially, like, I think that rollout has helped build a narrative about the game that if they had just shadow dropped the game, I think we'd be having a slightly different conversation. Like, I'm not to say that you would have been like head over heels in love with it or anything like that, but I
I
think you would
didn't
have been
know
yeah.
it was a thing. I completely forgot. I just happened to see it, free to play game. Oh, Highguard. I'm like, oh, okay, let me go ahead and download this. An hour later, I'm like, no, thank you. I'm good. I don't need to play this anymore. Oh, I also played The Surge 2 and Dead Island 2 is what I played over the weekend. Those are two games I played over the weekend. Two old games that I enjoy quite a bit. So that's what I did.
Okay. Carrie, you didn't play new games, but you did go to Los Angeles to check out a concert this weekend.
Los Angeles, yes. Yeah, last week I had a show in San Francisco, and so I was my free time was spent preparing for that. And yeah, so Friday we drove down. This is the first time that Atlas has held a Persona Live concert in the United States. They've been doing them in Japan, not quite annually, but fairly regularly since 2008. Um, so this was exciting. There were two shows on Saturday. There was also one Friday night. To my knowledge, it was the same set list across all three shows. It was just focused on music from 3 and from 5. There was no Persona 4 representation, which is fine by me because that's my least favorite of the modern Personas. But in the past, they have featured, 3, 4, and 5, or before 5 came out, it was 3 and 4, basically. So um, they called it Persona Live 2026 Awakenings. And it did feature like the actual vocalists from 3 Reload, mind you. Yumi was not there because she didn't sing on Reload. But they had Azumi Takahashi and Lotus Juice, your singer and rapper, respectively, from Persona 3 Reload. And Lotus Juice was on the original Persona 3 as well. And then Lin Inaizumi, who's the singer in all of the Persona 5 games. So she did the original P5, but then she also did Royal and Tactica and Strikers and stuff from the Phantom X. So the set list was interesting because there's been a lot of Persona 5 titles now. Um and they pretty much just did stuff from 5 and Royal, and then they did some Phantom X stuff. Now, if you're like, what the hell is Phantom X? It's their free to play game that's kind of an alternate universe retelling of the events of Persona 5. I think I haven't played it. I did put it in my Steam library because it is on Steam. It's
Isn't it also a
free.
mobile game?
It's a mobile game. It's a mobile
Yeah.
game, and but I was like, I'm not playing this game because I don't want to play like a big ass JRPG on my phone. So I haven't installed it because it's a hefty install. It's like 75 gigs, which feels like a lot
75 gigs on a what? A phone?
on
On a PC.
on
Oh, okay.
PC.
But
So
still, I mean, if it's 75 gigs on PC, that's still probably a pretty healthy phone install as well, I would imagine.
yeah. So I don't really know what's
75
going on with
gigs.
that. For comparison, the space required to install Persona 5 Strikers, which itself is a fairly hefty game, was 25 gigabytes. So I have a lot of questions. about Persona 5 the Phantom X. But basically, the way that they do it and the way that they incentivize you spending money is that like actions cost energy and you only have so much energy available to you and you got to wait for it to replenish. So if you want to go dungeon diving, you have to spend a certain amount of energy to enter the dungeon kind of stuff. So whatever. It apparently has decent music.
Probably
There
probably
was
the only reason.
probably like
You're
the
playing
only redeeming quality about it. Steam reviews are mixed.
Yeah, trust me. Warmed
uh,
over mobile bullshit definitely will get that reaction.
Yeah, I do like the character designs. I think this sort of like alternate Phantom Thieves, I do think they have very, very cool designs. It still feels very much in line with the rest of the kind of Persona 5 canon in that way. But yeah, so it's like they did a couple, like 2 or 3 Phantom X tunes, and then they were like, hey, you know what's so cool is we're coming out with this Persona 5 Tactica box set and it's 4 LPs and I am 8-Bits putting it out and they please order it. It's going to be on pre-order through the end of February. And then they didn't play anything from Tactica. They were like, Tactica is really cool and we did such good music that we're putting it on vinyl. Not going to play anything from it, but like so just a couple kind of moments about that. The other thing is they didn't have a full live band, which they have had in the Japanese performances. And that's kind of my biggest kind of hang up with this. Keeping in mind, I was thoroughly entertained the entire way through. Like, I thought the overall presentation was great. The Persona Live dancers, who are basically folks in cosplay as the main characters from 3 and 5, they were great. It was fun. It was a great way to escape from the hell of reality for 2 hours. But because of the fact that they didn't have a live band, it was just tracks and then one guitarist, one lead guitarist, Toshiki Konishi, who's one of the composers for Atlas, and he's also like kind of like your lead guitarist for the Atlas sound team. He was there, so he got some cool moments to show off, but it meant that pretty much all of the tracks were vocal tracks. So you only had like one kind of instrumental track. I think they did Blooming Villain from 5, and then they did something from 3 that's completely escaping me at this point. Um, so I like the instrumentals in 3 and 5 are also incredible. So it did feel lacking in that sense that they just did vocal tunes and they didn't even do all of the vocal tunes. So that could have been improved if they choose to do more Persona concerts in the United States, perhaps outside of Los Angeles at some point. I do hope that they have a live band and that they kind of balance the set list a little differently. But overall, like Lynn was great, Azumi was great, Mr. Juice was great. Like it was a great time. Like I had so much fun. There were so many people in cosplay. They sold I think I actually have it in arm's reach. I got the light stick because this is such a thing in Japan to do this during concerts. So
Okay.
it's cool. You can change the color, and I had a fun time with my friends in Los Angeles. So that's about it, though. Yeah, I'm looking forward to actually playing some games this week. I want to get back to Blueprints, and I want to start on 2 Point Museum. So
Oh, I'm very excited to get your impressions of that once you start playing it. So
yeah.
both games actually, for that matter. So um I'm still kind of working through Tokyo Extreme Racer, and I've also gone back to finish Art of Rally, which is something that I had not done. It's a game I talked about on the podcast before. Very good game. Check it out. In between then, I found time to play 2 smaller games. The first one is a game called Vital Shell that just came out last week. This is a small little indie survivors like game, but it's one of the level based survivors like. So if I've talked about Brotato on the show before, it's very similar to that in the way it's structured. So basically, the general premise is it's a wave based game where you have a character that moves around a map. It's an auto attack game where you have attacks that are on cooldowns and stuff like that, and you have to defeat waves of enemies. The difference here between this and something like a Vampire Survivors is that each level is timed. You have to survive for a certain amount of time, usually like a minute or 90 seconds, and then at the end of the level, if you leveled up during in collecting experience points, you can cash those in for different like weapon upgrades and power ups and stuff like that. So that's the kind of basic premise here. It's a good game. It's not as like Brotato is probably the gold standard in this genre, because it has so many characters, it has so many weapons, so many passives, where you can there's a lot more ability to play with your build. The upgrade path in Vital Shell is actually quite fixed. Like you gain new weapons at the same point during each run. You get upgrades for those weapons at the same point. Now you can choose different upgrades and you can apply them to different weapons at different times. But the way the run kind of plays out is similar. It's just the choices that are offered to you are going to be a little bit different. There's like a special attack that you unlock halfway through that you can use as well, and things like that. The thing that I would recommend this game for over something like a Brotato is that the aesthetic of the game is tremendous, because this basically looks and sounds like a PS1 era like Gundam shooter, essentially. Like it has a PS1 graphical style. It has PS1 shit all over the menus and stuff like that, or stuff alluding to it. The soundtrack is very PS1-esque. So if you are a gamer of a certain age and a certain style, and that is very appealing to you, then Vital Shell might be a good one to go with. Otherwise, I would tell you to just get Brotato, because I think Brotato is a better game that'll have more staying power. I don't see myself playing this past, completing all the stages once, essentially. I don't think that I'm going to grind it out. So the other game that I've been playing is another game that feels like a game released out of time, a game called Super Tenpin, which looks and feels like an N64 game in all the best ways. And as the name would lead you to believe, this is a bowling game. But it's like a bowling game by way of like Super Monkey Ball, essentially, where each of the lanes that you bowl on are different tracks that have hazards and obstacles that you have to avoid, but still roll the ball down the lane and try to get the best bowling score that you can across 5 frames. And so a lot of stuff to do in this game. There's a lot of different lanes. So far I'm just in the second area, and I think there's 15 different lanes in that area by itself, and then there are 2 more areas beyond that I would assume have a comparable amount of levels that are in the game. Each level has like a high score target that you're trying to achieve. There's also a hidden star somewhere in the level that you have to try to collect as well in order to fully complete it. But you can still move on past the levels. You don't have to like 3-star them, but obviously you need a certain amount of medals in order to unlock the later worlds. And then the other thing that's cool about this is that, as you might expect, there's different balls that you can unlock as well, and use in each level that have different attributes. So like there's a heavy ball, there's like a speed ball that you can roll that runs a little faster, but then it also has like a speed boost that you can activate to rocket it forward to knock down pins. There's like a bouncing ball that you can hit A to make it jump, and wherever it lands creates like a little mini explosion, so that if you can time that correctly to land into where the pins are, then it's an easy strike, and that sort of thing. This is a cool little game. Like I said, it's got a lot of content for a pretty inexpensive price. And again, if you're an old man like me and remember the days of the N64, this will be very appealing to you. And I believe it does have multiplayer as well. I think you can play with multiple people locally. I don't think it's online, but it does have local multiplayer, so you can compete against your friends. So if that sounds appealing to you, give Super Tenpin a shot. I think it is only on PC for now.
Yeah.
But maybe it'll come to console eventually.
I'm looking it up. Either you bowl.
I used to.
Like in real life? Yeah,
I used to.
Used to be pretty good. I used to be very good, actually. I used to work at a bowling alley when I was younger.
I don't know that I was ever good, but but I did enjoy it for sure.
I bowled Ray Lewis once.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I beat him.
Good for you.
This is when he was on quote unquote murder somebody. It was back.
Oh, okay. So is during that. So maybe
This
he was
was during their
preoccupied.
this was during their Super Bowl run. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Maybe, so maybe he
No,
was
it
a little
wasn't.
preoccupied.
No, I was better than him. No.
Okay.
No preoccupation. I was a better bowler than him. Like, don't disrespect my skills.
I will say I do enjoy. I haven't been duck pin bowling in a while, but I do like duck pin bowling.
I hate duck pin.
No,
I like
yeah.
duck pin, and that's not something they believe in out here.
No, they probably don't even know what it is. I
They
bet.
don't know what it is.
Yeah, that's
So,
it's an East Coast, perhaps specifically a Maryland.
Is it?
thing.
it is a Maryland thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Huh? You sure?
I
know
am
duck pins in New York.
I mean,
I mean,
let's
I
call
don't.
it
It might have
Mid-Atlantic.
radiated, but
Yeah, Mid-Atlantic.
Okay.
Yeah. Quick wiki check. According to the National Duckpin Bowling Congress, which is apparently a real organization that exists, regulation duckpin bowling is playing in 9 states. So those include Maryland, Virginia, West Virginia, North Carolina, Pennsylvania, Massachusetts,
That's so
Illinois.
weird.
Yeah. So no, not a thing they know about out here. No, it's commonly believed that duckpin originated in Baltimore. But yeah, I don't think anyone west of the fucking Mississippi knows what duckpin bowling is.
lacrosse also weirdly the same way. Like if you go out west, people don't. Really
Yeah,
know what
lacrosse.
lacrosse
Yeah.
is.
I mean,
That's-
like
that's
lacrosse is
decidedly minimal.
played out here. It is not nearly as popular though.
Mhm.
I would say like there's like college teams out here that play lacrosse. But yeah, it's like it's not a thing in the way that it is in the Mid-Atlantic specifically. So
Well, I regret to inform everybody that we must get on to the news.
we are
Look,
once
I
again
don't-
talking about ubiquitous software.
Yeah, I don't like the fact that this is becoming like a weekly segment on the show. Is this week in ubiquitous software? So last week was actually a pretty big week for Ubisoft. We have some major news to talk about. So Ubisoft has detailed the future structure of the company. They are doing what they're calling a major company reset that will, quote, reclaim its creative leadership and drive a sharp rebound over how things have been going for them as a result. So the first thing that kind of got announced with this is that there are 6 games that have been canceled. Only one of which was announced previously, which was that Prince of Persia Sands of Time
remake.
Yep.
Yeah. I saw something today about that. That was the one of the actresses involved basically was like, cool, so I just lost 3 years of work and I've got nothing to show for it. So
Yep.
that sucks.
7 games have been delayed, including what people assume the Assassin's Creed 4 remake that people assumed was pretty close to being able to be released, and 2 studios closed, one of which I assume was Halifax, which we talked about a couple weeks ago.
One was Halifax, yeah.
Yeah, and
Halifax and Stockholm.
And Stockholm, right. So the reason they canceled these 6 games is because they did not meet Ubisoft's new quality expectations, according to them. Even though industry insiders were assuming that game was going to like drop any day now, essentially, they, according to them, it was like basically done, essentially. And then so what they've decided to do here is they have split Ubisoft into 5 creative houses that is going to like organize things around Ubisoft. So the first creative house is Vantage Studios, which that's the Tencent owned or partially owned subsidiary where Assassin's Creed, Rainbow Six, and Far Cry, aka the profitable games, got shunted off to you. So that's Creative House 1. Creative House 2 is going to be dedicated to, quote, competitive and cooperative shooter experiences, which includes The Division, Ghost Recon, and Splinter Cell. So that's what Creative House 2 is heading up.
So you're saying
Creative.
there's going to be a new Splinter Cell coming out?
I mean,
'Cause
hope
there
hope
hasn't been a
springs
new
eternal.
Splinter Cell in like
So-
15 years. What the fuck?
And it'll apparently be a cooperative or competitive game, Terrence. That's the even more exciting news there.
Okay.
Creative House 3 will have a selection of quote select sharp live experiences.
Capital L live.
Yeah, capital L live. So that's going to include like For Honor, The Crew, Riders Republic, Brawlhalla, and somehow also mentioned Skull and Bones.
I thought that was dead in the water.
No pun intended.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
Creative House 4 will focus on fantasy worlds and narrative-driven universes, like the fantasy world of 1800s Industrial Revolution England with the Anno series, Might and Magic, Rayman, the Prince of Persia series, and Beyond Good and Evil still hanging in there somehow. So not one of the games canceled despite being in development, quote unquote, for 17 years. And then Creative House 5, which we'll call the junk drawer, which
Casual games.
Yeah, Ubisoft says this is going to reclaim our position in casual and family-friendly games, and this is where like Just Dance and Uno and all the Hasbro licenses that Ubisoft has right now are going to live, essentially. So,
sure.
Yeah. and so their philosophy here is that each creative house will have its own leadership and end-to-end responsibility for its specific portfolio, which Ubisoft says will help these studios make faster decisions and hopefully develop games quicker as well. So Ubisoft is a publicly traded company. And so usually when you have announcements like this, seeing how the market reacts is a good barometer to the level of confidence that that shareholders have in these new plans. And if you believe the level of confidence that Ubisoft shareholders have for this new announcement, not so good.
Not good.
Yeah, Ubisoft shares dropped 33% following the company reset announcement.
Also worth noting, the share price of Ubisoft has plummeted 95% over the last 8 years. So the company's doing really well, guys. I can't stress enough how good Ubisoft is doing right now. They have so many good things coming up.
So I mean, hey, if you need Ubisoft shares right now, you can get them for like $5 a piece.
I wonder what their stock price is right now.
As of the time of this VGC article that we're pulling this from, it was at 436 euros. So.
I want you to guess how much it is
in dollars or in euro?
In real money bucks, American dollar
in American dollars.
American.
So the euro is stronger than the dollar, so it's got to be more. I'm gonna say 550.
Terrence, you got something?
7.
It is currently trading as of closing today, $1.01.
That doesn't seem
what? Wait a minute.
It opened at 95 cents.
Oh, good. Hey, we're making games. Hodl or whatever the fucking Wall Street assholes say out there.
Yeah.
You gotta have diamond hands on Ubisoft stock.
So yeah. Yeah. In comparison, Nintendo is trading at $67. So
that's pretty good. So here's the thing with this plan. I don't think it's a bad plan. Like honestly, I think the way they're restructuring the studios actually kind of makes a lot of sense.
I do think it kind of does make some sense. Yeah. I had the same thought. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it does make sense to have like dedicated creative houses, dedicated dev teams for essentially different genres, right? You need your Rudy 2D Gun McShooty house. You need your like competitive game house. You need your Just Dance. You need your Wine Moms house. And yeah, I look at the restructuring plan and I go, okay, this actually makes some sense. However, given that this is Ubisoft we are talking about, I am fully expecting this to blow up in their face somehow. So this would be solved if they just made another fucking Rayman game.
Well, also, I don't understand how the Guillemot brothers have not been run out of the fucking building on a rail by
It
shareholders.
really does beg that question, doesn't it?
If they've lost this much shareholder value.
Of shareholder value that has been lost over the last decade for Ubisoft investors is astounding. But don't worry, guys. They have a plan to get that money back.
Oh, sure.
They're going to lay off about 18% of their staff
in Paris, specifically.
In Paris, so still a couple hundred jobs. I like how they call it a mutual termination. I don't think this is going to be entirely mutual for those 200 people that are about to lose their jobs. Yeah, so they're just like, this is part of the restructuring and blah, blah, whatever. But anyway, more game industry layoffs. Shocking.
Dude, it must be awesome to be rich and white, not having to be accountable for anything, any bad decisions you make.
I'm one of those things.
No, right, y'all are one of those each.
Yeah, we're right, but we're not rich. We can't understand.
Sometimes I wonder, Brad.
No. I'm just irresponsible with money. That's the real thing.
See, I could really live the high life, but I live in one of the highest cost of living countries.
Yeah, might as well be a fucking country.
Yeah, California does feel like its own country a lot of the time. Yeah.
Put it to you this way, I do okay, right? But like if I made a series of moves at my job that cost the company millions of dollars, I wouldn't have this job the job that I have anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't have that level of white privilege. That's only something we can all aspire to, really.
Yeah.
They're French.
No, I am comfortably
spans the world, doesn't it?
Truthfully, I only get to live the way that I do because I don't really have much in the way of rent because of cozy living situation I have out here. But even still, it's like I try not to be dumb with money.
Yeah. Well, not easy.
But here's the thing: if I had more money, then I could be dumb with money.
Well, and again, like this will work great for Ubisoft because now instead of having every game in their portfolio be the same, but just with like different theming, now they'll have 5 different games that they can apply across many different licenses and stuff like that. So they got that going for them, which I'm sure is nice.
I don't think it's going to change anything.
No, I mean, we'll see.
Just don't.
They're
going to have their dedicated fucking, houses, but all right. They're still going to be the same fucking games. You're still fucking laying people off.
Yeah.
Next year, we'll see another 5,000 people laid off.
Dude, I can't wait to see Beyond Good and Evil 2 maybe one day possibly comes out, and that thing just a complete sunk cost. I don't know how they haven't canceled that game yet. It defies belief. Because it's not like that game is going to be like a fucking 10 million seller when it comes out.
No, it's not.
There's no way. The first game
doesn't care anymore at this point.
No,
that's what I'm saying.
No. People didn't care about the first one when it released. It's a cult classic. It's not like a mainstream success.
No, like, God, that game's.
I played it.
Years old now.
I didn't finish it, but I played a bit of it.
It's like I saw this statement from Ubisoft saying that it remains a priority for us in the context of our strategy centered around open world adventures. And my brain just created the "sure, Jan" gif in my brain. Like I just, you know what I'm talking about, the Brady Bunch movie. Yeah, I don't believe this. I don't believe them.
All their open world games are the same, with just a different motif. So what the fuck are we talking about? All right, Ubisoft, sure.
I don't know. It might be completely different now because now it's part of Creative House 2. So
yeah, So Creative House 2, which is going to do the same shit. All right.
So
good luck.
Can't wait to see what Ubisoft news we have for you next week. I'm sure it's going to be a fucking banger. Carrie, tell me about what's going on in the UK and how apparently digital currency is now tangible.
I read this and I thought this was just an interesting story, especially because it specifically deals with the game RuneScape, which is not a game that I spend a lot of time thinking about, but it's apparently still a thing. So the UK Court of Appeals has ruled that currency within massively multiplayer online games can be treated as property, and therefore the stealing of such currency can be deemed criminal theft. So there was a verdict against a former Jagex developer who apparently had accessed 70 player accounts to harvest large quantities of gold and then sold the in-game currency for Bitcoin.
Of course.
So essentially, like there was some back and forth, and the conclusion is that RuneScape gold falls under intangible property when it comes to the definition of theft. So that these are assets which have a ascertainable monetary value, and that can be traded for that value both within the game and outside of the game. Within the game, the money's it represents the money's worth as the product of a purchase of a bond. Outside of the game, they are regularly traded for money's worth. They are capable of being subject to dishonest dealing, which deprives their possessor of their use and value. So this creates an interesting legal precedent.
In the
Wait
UK.
a minute. Wait a
In
second.
the UK.
Hold on. So what you're saying? So is RuneScape gold money you buy with real money?
No, it's gold you farm in the game itself. It is
You can
just
someone
in-game
because
gold.
you can sell it in the real world if you like via eBay or forums or whatever, because you can do that.
So
Therefore,
I'm
that
sorry.
makes it
So you can take money that you earned in a video game,
Mhm.
hoard it, and then say, "Hey, I've got 5,000 whatever the fuck RuneScape bucks
Parents, people
that
have
I
been
can
fucking
sell to
doing this
you
in
for
MMOs
real
since
life money."
MMOs were a thing. People have been creating and selling characters, selling gold, selling
Yeah,
weapons, all sorts of stuff.
gold farmers is a legit career, especially in like Korea and stuff like that. Like
Mhm.
you can literally pay someone to go onto your account and just farm gold for you, because you can then use that gold to do all sorts of
Do
things.
what you
So
want to do in the game.
yep.
So yeah,
What the
look,
fuck?
it
I've
it
never heard
really
of such
does
nonsense.
beg a question of the article purports, a very valid question of, if in-game items have value and are not just packets of valueless data, does this now throw a curveball into the "are loot boxes gambling" debate within UK institutions? And then, yeah, if stealing in-game gold is considered theft as a legal precedent, what does this mean for other UK-based hackers for other games? So I'm going to be really curious to see kind of what happens next. Now that this precedent has been created within the British courts, I'm very curious.
Yeah.
So
I still think there's going to be a high bar to clear, because I think at the very least, like if you were to bring any kind of case against someone who defrauded you here, you'd have to be able to prove definitively
yeah,
that product can be sold, in the real world for monetary value. I think if it just lives within the game, there's really no way to kind of bring that case.
yeah. I mean, exactly. I mean, this specific situation was like this dude like hacked into multiple
Mhm.
accounts. These were not people who like were tricked into giving it away or something like that. Like these were people who had their accounts essentially stolen from them, hacked into. So, but this happens across all MMOs. Like
Not just MMOs. I mean,
yeah,
FIFA,
that too.
gold farming and also like gold selling is not a condoned thing by EA, but it's certainly something that happens on the web. So
Yeah.
So the total
So
value of the gold he stole was over $500,000.
yeah.
According to what he bought with it, I guess, because like I said, if you turn around and invested it in cryptocurrency,
That's
Yeah.
what I mean. Like,
yeah,
Jesus Christ.
So
Okay,
interesting stuff.
that's insanity. All right.
Carrie, why don't you also tell us about the new Mario trailer, which I have not watched.
Yeah. I just put the link to the trailer in there. It's not too long, but it does give us the not so much a look at galaxies, but definitely some stuff inspired by Mario Odyssey. Some distinct areas that are very easy to recognize from Odyssey. And our first look at tax fraud specialist Yoshi.
Tax
So
fraud specialist Yoshi. What is this besmirching you're doing to my boy here?
yeah. Are you not familiar with Yoshi
No.
commits tax fraud?
No. What is
All right,
that?
I'm just gonna let you go down that rabbit hole.
All right,
another time.
I'll discover
Yeah,
that
no,
on my own time.
Yoshi needs to go to jail for tax fraud. But regardless, we have Yoshi now. He certainly sounds like Yoshi. And Yoshi in the games has always been voiced by Kazumi Totaka, who's one of the like lead video game composers for Nintendo. But I would love it for it to be Totaka in the film. They have not said anything about who Yoshi's voice actor is. So
They're
but yeah.
not like having him talk, right? Like
No,
he
he just
doing,
makes
"Yoshi!"
the fucking Yoshi noises.
Yeah, okay.
I don't like Yoshi.
Yeah, it's well documented, and I won't stand for your Yoshi slander.
Yeah, well, regardless. Film looks good. They had like a 5-minute direct the other day for it where they were just like, here's the new trailer and here's a new poster, and the film comes out on April 1st. No fooling. So I'm looking forward to it. It looks like more of the vibes of the first film. But the other really cool thing is that we're getting our first look at power-ups for Mario and Luigi. So we see them use the fire flower. We see Luigi in the frog suit at one point in the trailer. So it does look like they are leaning into the more video gamey elements of the video game adaptation. So yeah.
I still have not seen the original yet, even though I probably should. It's just hard because Chris Pratt really just has left a bad taste in my mouth right now. So.
I really do not care for Chris Pratt. That
Yeah.
being said, for me, the first film was like, it's good enough that like you just kind of forget that it's him.
Okay.
Like,
Yeah, I will say that also. Like, I enjoyed the first one. It's a fun movie.
yeah.
He's in it again. He's playing Mario again.
Yeah, they brought back the same.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they
voice
brought
actors.
back the full cast. That was in the first one. So
Yeah.
Also, Benny Safdie's playing Bowser Jr., which is very weird to me.
Mhm.
Did you watch The Smashing Machine?
I did not.
I heard it was good.
Was it him?
I thought his brother directed that one.
Is it one of the Safdie brothers?
Right.
Directed that. Yeah, I don't know which one. I didn't finish it.
The Rock's guaranteed Oscar bait movie that nobody likes.
It was an Oscar bait movie, and like again, like he looks different enough, but like he's still The Rock.
Yeah,
you can't not see The Rock when you're watching that movie.
Yeah.
Better luck next time, Dwayne. Better luck next time. So, this next movie isn't a news story, but I did think it was an interesting commentary, and it was something that like. As soon as I heard someone say it, I'm like, oh yeah. I was like, it is interesting. This is the way. So Elizabeth Lopato of The Verge wrote an article. The title of the article is Payment Processors Were Against CSAM Until Grok Started Making It. So basically, it's just an article calling out how it's really interesting that payment processors were very gung-ho to follow the trend of combating sexually explicit material on various storefronts or various fronts, including video game storefronts, as we talked about on this show, as they kind of leverage Steam into removing a lot of games from their service that they found or that they were lobbied to find disagreeable. Yet Grok is out here making child porn, and Visa and MasterCard can't be bothered to care. for some reason.
Yeah. Wonder why that is. Side note, if you're still on Twitter or X or whatever you want to call it, I think less of you. Because at this point,
is why is everyone afraid of these people? They have money, so what?
Because they have influence as well. That's the bigger deal. You know what I mean?
So
like
people are gonna be like, I'm not gonna use Visa to process my. No one's gonna do that. What the fuck? No one is thinking about like when you have to buy something, it's gonna be Visa, MasterCard, Discover, American Express. You don't give a fuck which one it is. You're not gonna
don't care which one it
boycott
is.
Visa. What the hell?
This also kind of goes back to like it's kind of incredible that Grok is still able to do what Grok is doing, because like the app stores themselves could nip this in the bud very quickly if they wanted to.
Yeah,
but they just don't.
Stores. Again, I don't understand this. I don't get it. People are not gonna boycott the fucking Apple store because they take fucking.
Well, no, I don't think it's about people I think the problem is because the president is who the president is right now, and
again,
things like the FTC are run by the people who run the FTC right now. They're afraid that if they lean on one of the president's good buddies and ruin his little app by his little fucking child porn generating machine, that it will have downstream consequences for them.
He's not even on X.
Who's
on social?
like, right, but they would still like, he would still probably like, if Elon ran to him and was like, oh, like they're being mean to me, like they would still probably try to lean on them.
They would try, and they would have no fucking grounds to stand on. This
that
is what I'm
hasn't
saying.
stopped
Like, everyone's
this
so
administration
fucking
before.
I understand what you're saying, but every time, here's the thing: every time someone fights back, ABC just gave him $16 million. When people fight back, they fucking lose. Like this administration loses. Like what happened was it Maine or some shit like that? Remember that there was something about transgender sports. It was in Maine, or
no, it was in Maine, and
the woman was like, was like, I'll see you in court, and she was like, bet, nigga, and they went, and they went to court, and she won.
Yeah, the governor fucking slapped them around, and
they don't have an actual case, so like everyone should be like, go fuck yourself. You lose all your cases. I don't understand why they so pussy. It's weird to me. It just makes me very angry.
Yeah, it's certainly a lot
frustrating. It's so dumb, man. Like I'd be like, all right, nigga, we have as much money as you. Fuck you. What are you gonna do to me? Right. Costco did the same shit. Now they're like, give me my money back for these tariffs that we've been eating for the last year. So you know what? Whatever.
Yeah.
Everyone's a bunch of bitches. I don't get it.
It is, but like I said, I just like it's just it's an interesting thought experiment, and I do wish if they're going to use it in one respect, like be consistent at least. Like it's the hypocrisy and the inconsistency is what drives me the most insane.
Yeah.
And again, like literally, this app, this AI is generating child pornography. It's generating.
At this point,
like unwanted pornography in general on demand.
Twitter is a revenge porn site at this point. Like, and it's like, here's the thing. Like, I have friends who I know maintain like locked accounts because Blue Sky doesn't have locked accounts yet, and they want like a private space to get whatever fucking thoughts out of their system. You don't need a private Twitter account. You need therapy. You don't need a private Twitter account. You need a journal and therapy. Like, I'm fucking sorry. Like, I absolutely think less of the people who I know who are still active on Twitter, because of the fact that they just cannot pull themselves away from, again, what is a revenge porn website at this point. So I'm so over the whole thing. Like,
there was a funny,
delete your account. There are other things you can be doing with your time that aren't doom scrolling on the porn site.
There was a funny post that I saw last week where it was a screen cap of some Twitter account that there's a picture of Anne Hathaway, and one of the people replied to the picture by saying, hey Grok, do your thing. I'm assuming they wanted it to generate like remove Anne Hathaway's clothes from her in this image or whatever, and instead Grok replied with basically like, yes, Anne Hathaway is Jewish because blah 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 blah. I'm like, it's really cool that those are your two things, Grok. I meant the other thing, but like I said, it's very good that these are very defined. Your two things is generating revenge porn, and being a fucking Nazi.
Yeah.
Awesome. Cool website you got there. Yeah, I agree. Get the fuck off of Twitter or X or whatever the fuck you want to call it. So
We live in next story.
Yeah. Well, this one's pretty great too. I heard a little bit about this, but I'll let Carrie take it. A really fun experience for a lot of players.
So this was fun. A new gotcha game came out, Arknight's Enfield. So if you like fucking big titty anime girl PNGs, I guess this is the game for you. But the problem with the game is that there was a bug regarding connected PayPal accounts, where basically people's entire balances were getting wiped. Like that, like upwards of like thousands of dollars of funds were disappearing from people's PayPal accounts and presumably from connected bank accounts. So
Wow.
the dev said, we want to sincerely apologize to everyone affected by the PayPal payment issue that occurred shortly after launch. Apparently, all affected purchases will be refunded. We do not store players' payment information. This issue only affected some players on certain platforms when using PayPal. As soon as we became aware of the problem, we disabled PayPal within roughly 2 hours to prevent any further impact. So, yeah, basically, a gotcha game came out, and instead of slowly draining players' money over the course of several months, they tried to take it all at once. So, be careful out there, kids.
Gotcha.
Yeah, gotcha immediately.
What the fuck? What the hell?
Very good. Very good. Fantastic.
Just end the episode there.
Thousands of dollars.
That takes us to the Dense Pixels post office. You can ask us questions that we'll answer on the show by joining our Discord, densepixels.com/fans. Just like Casa did, who says, are there any games you wrote off or otherwise forgot about that came screaming back into relevance for you suddenly? They mentioned No Rest for the Wicked, which came out in early access a couple years ago. It was published by Private Division, which unfortunately let go of all their games under financial strife from Take-Two. But Moon Studios, who developed the Ori games and developed this game, are now self-publishing it. And it's they just put out a big update. It's been in the news. I played a little bit last night. They had a free weekend. I'm interested in it. It's interesting. It's basically like it's an ARPG, like a Diablo style ARPG, but it's got like Souls-esque combat.
I've seen it.
Yeah,
it looks cool.
It looks cool. So I Against the Storm is this one for me, because I remember when Against the Storm, when it first landed on my radar, I played the demo. It didn't click. I bought it on sale, played it again. I was like surely 95% of Steam users can't be wrong, and it just wasn't clicking with me. So I refunded it, and then it kept popping up in my feed, and I was like, sure, like there's got to be something that I'm missing here. And for whatever reason, the third time was the charm. Like everything kind of locked into place, and now it's like absolutely one of my like favorite games that's come out in the last couple of years, for sure. So like this would be that one for me.
I got nothing.
Nope.
Let's see here. Y'all were kind of on one because Carrie put out the clearing call here. Mark says it's time to get ill, not a question. Chris says water is nice, but not when it's flooding your home. Also not a question. I will point out for the record. Mark did come back and asked, what game characters are most like TNP people, and is Jay Anton Castillo? Now, I'm not 100% sure who. I think it's the villain from Far Cry 6 that was played by Giancarlo Esposito.
Yes.
Okay.
A fascist dictator.
of a small, not South American country.
Yeah.
another question I have no answer to. I don't keep track of video game characters like that. I don't. My memory is going to shit, so I don't really remember a lot. Honestly.
Carrie does remind me often, like if there's a very enthusiastic like RPG party member, it always kind of reminds me of her to an extent. So I not one specific character that I can point out, but just that
like archetype.
Yeah, is just reminds me of Carrie.
I'll take it.
Butcher Pete asks, when are we getting the D&D actual play miniseries? Dude, I would love if we had the time, I would love to do something like that.
Dude.
But God knows we fucking don't.
Brother, I am in 2 bands, 3 bands. I'm involved in too much musically to really do a regular actual play miniseries. I would love that though. Like, I miss D&D a lot. But yeah, I'm limiting myself to occasional one-shots with my old crew at this point.
Yeah, that's it. Maybe one day we could see about maybe doing like a one-shot or something.
Yeah, like a one-shot I think would be fine.
Terrence, I don't know if you would be into that or not.
What?
Like D&D?
I don't even know what that means.
Doing a tabletop RPG. Yeah, that's about what I suspected. That's about what I suspected. So, Mad Coco G asks, is there anything they could do gameplay wise with Castlevania? As would the fan base want a Souls game slapped on it? I wouldn't, as I'm not a fan of the genre.
Don't turn Castlevania into a fucking Souls.
No. Here's the thing. I don't think they would. I feel like if they're going to bring back Castlevania, and as I believe we discussed last week, this is a good year to bring back Castlevania in a big way, given that it's the 40th anniversary year. I feel like Konami is probably smart enough to see the various other Castlevania-inspired games that have come out and been massive successes. That I think they're probably just not going to fuck with what works. Or they could pull a Konami and completely shoot themselves in the foot. It's either going to be one or the other. They're either going to just do a beautiful one-to-one Symphony of the Night remake, or they're going to turn it into an action RPG. I don't fucking know. Like, that might be cool though.
Here's the thing. I think actually doing like a Souls-like Castlevania could actually be kind of dope. Yeah. It would turn off a lot of people.
It would turn off a lot of people and would probably not be very successful. And then they will bury the franchise for another 10 years minimum. It's like right back to the pachinko machines. That's it.
Right. But here's the thing. I like if you do a 3D game, I don't think you can just do character action because like I said, I think that the most successful character action games are ones that have like a certain style, certain panache to them, like a DMC or like a Ninja Gaiden and stuff like that. And I just like we kind of saw that with Lords of Shadow, and I don't think it played too well. So I think if you're going to do a third-person action game, it would make sense for them to lean into a Souls style experience with like balls hard combat, because those games have that sort of aesthetic anyway. That kind of gothic horror aesthetic in a lot of ways to it. So
I don't know. Darksiders 3 kind of did that. Like the Darksiders series did like 3 different genres. Darksiders 3 was a Souls-like, and it didn't really work out. It didn't really work out that well.
I don't know. Actually, 4 different genres, Terrence, because Darksiders Genesis was like a top-down.
Oh yeah, it was a top-down shooter
adventure game. Yeah. So. And that was good apparently, according to Mike.
Yeah, apparently it was like better than 3. Yeah, I don't know what they would do. Look, just make a remake of, like she said, do a remake of fucking Symphony of the Night with like not sprite based, but
I'd just make it crispy.
Yeah, I don't know. I've played Symphony of the Night like 10 times over the last how many years it's been out.
Once.
I love that game. You've never played it?
Nope. I'm not good at Castlevania style games, so I have simply elected to not play them. Here's the thing. Here's what I would do though. if they put out a Symphony of the Night remake, I would give it a shot, because at this point it's been probably 10 years since I've actually earnestly given a Metroidvania style game a earnest varsity try. And if it's going to be with any of them, it would be Symphony of the Night to do it with, I think. So
Wait, did you ever play Metroid? You played Metroid. You didn't play Metroid on Switch?
me? I didn't
Yeah.
play fucking no.
Oh, you don't like Metroid? Oh,
No,
okay.
she's
Oh,
not.
you just don't like that. Oh, okay.
I don't
Yeah.
like that style of game, man. I'm not good at 2D action platforming. It's also why I haven't played any fucking Mega Man. Like,
Oh, yeah, you playing fucking Castlevania before Mega Man if you don't want to throw your controller out the goddamn window. The fucking Mega Man games are hard as shit.
yeah. Here's the thing, what I will say about all 3 series mentioned, wonderful music.
Well, that's the part you got to nail down.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, like like I said, if I would bet dollars to donuts you get a Souls-ish action game if they decide to go with a 3D one.
I just feel like we're gonna go back to 2D.
That would be a smart thing to start with. But I think eventually you have to evolve it a little bit. So
yeah.
Yep. Who did Streets of Rage 4? They also did Shinobi. I need them to do a Castlevania Symphony of the Night. That's who I want to do Castlevania Symphony of the Night remake.
Streets of Rage 4
is Lizard Cube. Right?
Lizard Cube?
Yeah. Dotemu, Lizard Cube, and Guard Crush.
I think Lizard Cube was the ones that do that art style.
The developer, yeah,
they're the developer. Yeah, get them to do it if they're going to do a remake of Castle, because that would look fucking amazing.
It would. It would be really stylish. So
yeah.
Finally, T-Wash asks, which classic console do you wish they made? I wish Nintendo made a Wii classic just for Wii Sports to come back.
I want a handheld. I don't want a classic console. I want a classic handheld. And like, to be fair, like, yes, do I have a Game Boy Color within arm's reach of me right now? Yes, I do. Yes, it's dusty, but yes. But what I would want either like a fucking Game Boy Advance classic, SP clamshell style. I want something I can throw in my pocket. So I want either that, or I want a fucking PSP classic. Because PSP was something where, like, that is a library of games that for me is very appealing. A lot of PSP exclusive, at least initially exclusive for a long time, JRPGs. I would love the opportunity to go back and revisit some of those. Or just even visit them for the first time. But I don't think Sony's gonna ever give me that. So they're gonna be like, give us $30 a month and you can access it and it'll look like shit on your HD television. That's not the experience I want. I think a handheld classic with like a built-in library of like 50 games, I think would be perfect. That's what I want.
Just have a Switch and emulator. There you go.
Well, I don't want it to be that big. I don't like. That's the thing, is that I can play Game Boy Color, Game Boy Advance games on my Switch, absolutely, because I have the Switch Online. But again, what I'm looking for is something small that is even more nondescript than taking my Switch somewhere. Like, I want something that like I can put in my pocket, and just like have with me. I can't really, like, you can do that with a Switch. You can take your Switch with you, but like, you better have a fucking carrying case for it. Unless you're wearing Jinkos, you're not putting that shit in your pocket. Jinko should come back though.
So this is always a hard question for me to answer, because like I'm into the whole fucking emulation gimmick, right? So like I don't need a classic console, or like if I want a classic console, I'll just fucking dial up Anbernick and be like, hey, give me your fucking bootleg Game Boy Advance SP that I can load any game that I want to on there, and it's gonna work great. So one of the things that's cool about the classic consoles is not only is it a way to kind of nostalgically relive your childhood, which is why these things are really popular, It can also be used as a way to experience things that you missed or that you never had the opportunity to experience because a lot of stuff didn't come here. So one thing that is fascinating to me is we look at the Sega Saturn as like a failure of a console.
Yeah.
My
Because
brother had the Saturn.
but I'm saying like the US centric view of the Saturn is that it was a failed console. That console was like really successful in Japan because literally 3/4 of the games that came out on the Saturn never made it
Yeah.
to the US. So
That's a really good point. I would love a classic Saturn with translated versions of all those games that never made it over here.
right.
In Japan, Sega Saturn also had the best ad campaign with Segata Sanshiro. So look that up if you're not familiar with that.
But like I said, and plus the other thing is too, Saturn games are often very difficult to emulate. Like it's weirdly one of the hardest consoles to emulate well for whatever reason. So that would be pretty neat. Like if Sega could curate like, hey, like here's the best US games, but also like here's a large collection of very popular Japanese Saturn games. I don't even need to be translated. Like like if it's not like an RPG or something where like you need where you're reading a lot of text, I don't even give a shit. Like I'll figure it out.
but a game facts.
Right. So
Yeah.
but that would be pretty nifty. And then the same thing you could do, it would be neat if you did with Dreamcast. Dreamcast is a lot easier to emulate. But again, a console that I did not experience at the time because I was a PlayStation kid, but looking back on it, it's like, man, Dreamcast was really cool. Actually,
I loved my Dreamcast.
Yeah.
I
Dreamcast rips.
imported quite a few games too, like Guilty Gear X.
Here's a fun.
I imported that. I imported a bunch of wrestling games, Giant Graham 2000, Fire Pro Wrestling. Yeah, I love my Dreamcast.
I had a
I bought it day one.
fun Dreamcast moment at MagFest this year. A friend of mine basically created truck nuts for your Dreamcast controller. Stick it in the VMD slot.
Oh.
I'll send you guys a picture of that one. Yeah, interesting note, just going back and looking on the legacy of the Saturn. Worth noting, because as you said, the Saturn in the United States was an abject failure because Sega US did not launch that console properly at all and really burned a lot of goodwill with a lot of major retailers. But in Japan, sold 5.75 million units, which surpassed the 3.58 million of its predecessor, the Mega Drive. Also, worth noting, it actually outpaced the Nintendo 64 in Japan, which sold 5.54 million units. So truly, the Saturn, I think, is the correct choice as far as a classic console. Because here's the thing about a lot of Saturn games is they are very hard to come by if you want actual copies of them too. I own one Sega Saturn game. It's the Revolutionary Girl Utena visual novel. I have
Saturn
no
games
way to play it.
Yeah, Saturn games are like crazy expensive, especially stuff
Yeah.
like Burning Rangers and shit like that. So
Panzer Dragoon.
Yep, all that good stuff. By the way, fun fact that this is one of those Phoenix Down moments for me. So like, you know, because we always grew up, or a lot of us grew up with Nintendo consoles, when Microsoft started doing their 4-button layout and it was flipped, like people were just like, why did Microsoft do this? I just like literally within the past couple months, I realized that Microsoft's layout is actually correct because they were using like the Sega layout of ABC XYZ, but they just cut off the other two, the Z and the C buttons at the end. So like if you look how the Microsoft controller is laid out, it actually makes way more sense than the Nintendo controller if you just think through it logically as to how those buttons are positioned. So it's Nintendo that's wrong, actually.
With Nintendo is
Nintendo, the bottom, the south button is the B button.
That's always been stupid to me. It's like BA. Like, I'm like, what the fuck? It doesn't make any sense.
BAY.
It never made sense.
Yeah. All right.
It made sense to me because that's all I played. That's what I played.
I had a Genesis, and then I had the PlayStation. My brother got the Sega Saturn. Then I got the Dreamcast and the N64 when that came out. That had that dumb fucking controller with the C up, down, left to right button and stick in the middle. Nintendo was just bizarre with their controllers. We've already discussed that. What the fuck is up with them? They just want to be different for no reason. Well, yeah, like BA. Like when I'm doing the emulation, it's like press the B button. So I'm pressing the B button on the Xbox controller.
Right,
Like, it's the
and
wrong
that's
button.
and
Like,
that's
what the
the
fuck kind of
yeah.
dumb shit is that? I hate it. Yeah, it's stupid.
So, but we all just got brainwashed, and then like you said, Microsoft. but again, like it never bothered me on the Genesis controller because you look at it and you're like, oh, of course, this makes sense. ABC, like yeah, like why
yeah,
why would it
more
be
like
why wouldn't it be that way? But yeah, like but and then Xbox came out and I'm like, well, this is backwards. This is fucking stupid. What is Microsoft doing here? Turns out I was.
Is it because like don't they read in the opposite direction in Japan?
I think that I think that literally is the reason why.
Is that
Yeah,
X,
so they do read
BA
right to left. Yeah.
So BA, and like I'm always like, no, that's wrong. I always thought it was wrong.
Nope, when I was a kid, made perfect sense. Yeah, like yeah, hold wide run, B to jump. Like yeah, this all is it's all very sensible. So
no, never.
Well, that is going to do it for us. Again, make sure you check us out wherever you find podcasts or YouTube or all that jazz. Look forward to the Ball Pit VOD that I'll be putting up. We'll also be getting back to Civilization, probably with the next stream that we do, continuing that campaign onward. So yeah, but that's gonna be it for us this week. Thank you all very much for watching and listening. We'll see you the next time.
See ya.
You're watching the Dense Pixels YouTube channel. Click the subscribe button while you're here and make sure you check out our weekly podcast where we discuss the latest gaming news and our impressions on what games we've been playing.